Ilia Malinin has finally pulled back the curtain on what truly unfolded at the Olympics, and the truth is something no one saw coming. It wasn't a torn ligament, or treacherous ice, or a cruel twist of fate. It was a catastrophic mental collapse, broadcast live from the Olympic rink to 10,000 pairs of eyes. In the span of 4 minutes, the quad god, a man who hadn't tasted defeat since 2023, plummeted from a golden pedestal to an agonizing 8th place. An entire life's work, incinerated in a single performance. And the story he told in the aftermath is nothing short of gut-wrenching. The scene was set Friday night, February 13th, 2026. The Milano Ice Arena, the grand finale of the men's figure skating free skate. In the stands sat Simone Biles. Nathan Chen watched from afar. In the crowd was Ilia Malinin's own father, Roman. As the final skater of the evening, Ilia held a commanding 5-point advantage from the short program. All he needed was a solid skate, and the gold medal was his for the taking. The quad god was in his kingdom. A hush fell over the arena. His program began, his own voice echoing from the speakers. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. On any other night, those words were a declaration of war. That night, they felt like a chilling premonition. His first element, a quad flip. He landed it, but it was a fight. The audience roared, yet an uneasy feeling hung in the air. Next came the Quad Axel, the legendary jump that was his alone. A breathtaking 4.5 rotations in the air. He had conquered it countless times before. He gathered his momentum, carved into the ice, and launched, and in that instant, something shattered. Mid-flight, his own body revolted against him. He bailed out of the jump, turning 4.5 rotations into a mere 1.5. A simple single axel. A collective gasp swept through the stadium. The quad god had just fumbled his masterpiece. He scrambled to regain his composure. A quad lutz, he was on his feet, but the landing was unstable. Then the quad loop. He popped it. 4 rotations became 2. A simple double loop. His rhythm was gone, his confidence in pieces. He set up for a quad lutz combination, soared into the air, and slammed hard onto the ice. He couldn't even attempt the second jump. He forced himself up, moving like a ghost. The hollowness was etched onto his face. He was utterly lost. One last jumping pass, a quad salchow into a triple axel. For him, it should have been effortless. He took off, only to pop the jump into a double before crashing down again. The second fall of the program. He rose slowly, finishing the routine on sheer instinct. The music faded. He stood at the center of the rink, his head collapsing into his hands. He just kept shaking his head, lost in disbelief. The arena was paralyzed in a state of stunned silence. He listlessly raised his arms, then glided off the ice, his face a mask of pure devastation. The score appeared, 156.33 for the free skate. That put him in 15th place out of 24 skaters. His total score was 264.49. 8th place overall, a staggering 80 points shy of his personal record. The gold went to Mikhail Shidov of Kazakhstan. Japan secured both the silver and the bronze. The quad god would leave with nothing. To understand the weight of what happened on that ice, you first have to understand who Ilia Malinin is. At just 21 years old, he was already a legend. He is the child of 2 Olympians, Roman Skornov and Tatiana Molinina. His mother serves as his coach, though she was absent from the games in Milan. As a teenager, he christened himself the Quad God, a bold claim backed by an uncanny ability to execute quadruple jumps that no one else dared attempt. He remains the only skater in history to have ever landed a quad axel in competition, widely considered the most formidable jump in the sport. He was the 2-time undefeated world champion, riding a wave of 14 consecutive victories since 2023. He didn't just win, he dominated, often leaving his rivals behind by 10, 30, or even 40 points. He was untouchable, until that Friday night. Facing the media after the catastrophe, he offered no excuses. "I blew it," he said, the first thought that pierced through the shock. "There's no way that just happened," he muttered, before delving deeper into the psychological nightmare that had unfolded, and his words are heartbreaking. He confessed that the nerves had become a tidal wave. Suddenly, every traumatic memory from his past came rushing back, flooding his mind. Before he even struck his opening pose, a lifetime of difficult experiences, dark thoughts, and immense pressure converged into an unbearable weight. He had no idea how to fight it. He described his legs feeling like they were turning to lead. He couldn't draw a full breath. By the time he launched into the quad axel, a complete mental block had taken over. In midair, his body simply refused to obey. "It's not like any other competition," he explained. "It's the Olympics." He admitted he had fatally underestimated the crushing weight of the moment. He believed he could treat it as just another event, a belief that proved disastrously wrong. Sports analyst Christine Brennan offered a blunt assessment. She declared it was likely the single worst meltdown in the annals of figure skating, and without a doubt, the most shocking collapse by a favorite in Olympic history. She called it an upset as monumental as any ever witnessed in the world of sports. But here's the crucial part. The warning signs were already there. Just days before, in the team event's short program, he had an uncharacteristic stumble on a triple axel, one of his most reliable jumps. He finished second, trailing Japan's Yuma Kagiyama. It was a surprising flaw, but he appeared to recover, delivering in the free skate to help win team gold for the United States. Then, on Wednesday, just before his individual short program, he made a startling admission. "I didn't think it would be this heavy," he said. "The Olympic atmosphere is insane." He even bailed on his last practice session of the day. He confessed that he just wanted to stay in bed, a desperate attempt to hide from the pressure cooker that was building inside him. For the individual short program on Tuesday, however, he looked as if he had conquered his demons. He masterfully built a 5-point lead over Kagiyama. The quad god seemed to have returned poised, powerful, and ready to claim his throne. He was anything but. The weight of it all was a constant, immense force, just waiting for the one moment it could break him. And one final detail he shared puts everything into a chilling perspective. He wasn't at the 2022 Beijing Olympics. He was considered too young, not yet ready, and he failed to make the team. That rejection sparked what he termed a desperate hunger to prove his worth. A feeling that festered and grew for 4 agonizing years. For 4 years, he knew this would be his only chance. For 4 years, that pressure coiled tighter and tighter until it was unleashed in just 4 minutes on Friday night. And it utterly broke him. But the part that truly shatters the heart is what he did next. When the final scores flashed on the board, cementing his 8th place finish, Ilia Malinin got to his feet and walked directly to Mikhail Shadorov, the 21-year-old from Kazakhstan, who had just put on the show of a lifetime. Malinin pulled him into a hug and said, "You deserve it." There was no bitterness, only profound grace in the lowest moment of his life. Shadorov, meanwhile, was weeping, completely overcome with emotion. He had just captured Kazakhstan's first-ever Olympic gold in men's figure skating. He would later say that Malinin was the greatest skater in history, and that the ice itself had been treacherous. As Shadorov took his place on the podium alongside Japan's Yuma Kagiyama and Shun Sato, Malinin had to face the media. He confessed he was still trying to process what had just transpired. The only certainty was that this was not the skate he was capable of. It was an outcome he had never imagined. The moment was gone, irreversible, no matter how much he wished he could have it back. He began to allude to the ice conditions, but then cut himself off, stating that everyone competes on the same surface. He offered no excuses, only a starkly honest confession about the internal battle he had so spectacularly lost. And here is the brutal truth this incident lays bare about the pressure of the Olympics. You can be the most dominant athlete on the planet, undefeated for years, with a command of technical skills others can only dream of, and still crumble under that immense weight. This isn't a test of skill. It's a test of nerve when the entire world is holding its breath. It's when 4 years of relentless work boils down to 4 minutes of execution. It's a moment where being flawless physically is secondary to being absolutely unbreakable mentally. Ilia Malinin is one of the most gifted figure skaters to ever grace the ice. He executes moves that defy belief. The Quad Axel, 7 quads in a single program. But on that night, his own mind betrayed his body. He does have a team gold medal from earlier in the competition. So, he walks away an Olympic champion, but not the one he was destined to be. Not the individual glory. Not the moment that was supposed to etch his name into history. He's only 21. Milan 2026 probably isn't his last shot. 2030 is another 4 years away. There will be another chance, but the memory of this performance will stalk him. Those 4 minutes will be on a loop in his mind for the rest of his life. The quad axel he failed to launch. The stumbles, the falls, the 8th place result when gold was within his grasp. What did you make of Ilia's performance? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and be sure to subscribe for more stories from the Olympic Games.